You know, I wanted to make this a Why No One Plays episode at first, but I contemplated it for a while and decided it would be better to approach this by itself. If you're meant to select one character that represents Super Smash Bros., most would choose Captain Falcon without a second thought. This character is known more for his involvement in this franchise than the very series from which he originated. His notable voice lines, the muscle definition, the Giga Chat outfit right alongside the helmet and visor, and of course the iconic Falcon Punch were part of the game ever since the inaugural release of 64, and he will continue to be inextricably linked to this game, really until the end of time. The captain's competitive history has been well documented across a number of channels, all of which I highly recommend you check out to get some much needed context on the length of his career thus far. Having had a fair mix of highs and lows over the past few games, Douglas J. Falcon's combination of mobility, power, combo game, and spectacle made him a consummate fan favorite to watch. Yet in spite of players generally looking to be in agreement that he leans more on the side of good than bad, Falcon's had a rather inconsistent showing throughout Ultimate's tenure, fluctuating from low mid-tier to high tier, then back down to mid-tier. I want to go over both the intrinsic and extrinsic factors that led to the fall and rise and fall again of Captain Falcon, as I believe the story is a lot more interesting than it looks. As one of the most recognizable members of the brawler archetype in Smash, typically being categorized as a rushdown fighter, Falcon's ostensibly got the whole package, and you'd think he has it better than most others. However, it's here where the central issue with this gameplay begins to surface, one that affects almost every aspect of him and what, in my opinion, is responsible for his inconsistency over the years. Falcon's characterized by the general populace as a rushdown fighter, yet he lacks half the equation necessary to fit into that role. At the same time, he lacks half the equation to fit into any other neighboring one, like bait and punish or hit and run fighters, forcing the player to alternate between the three playstyles despite not really being suited for each one. This might have you believing he's more of a jack-of-all-trades generalist fighter, but he doesn't even have the appropriate tools for that category either. To be fair, no character's without flaws, but the reason for his inconsistency in high and top levels stems from completely missing an element that's crucial to round out that type of playstyle. The mark of a rushdown fighter is speed in both movement and attacks. Falcon is one of the fastest characters in the game, both on the ground and in the air, giving him no shortage of option select when it comes to having to be at the right place at the right time, altogether having a lot more overall mobility than other in-your-face brawlers, including but not limited to the FGC characters. Furthermore, contrary to other rushdown fighters who depict more of a glass cannon playstyle either because of weight or low survivability, Falcon's one of the more beefy characters in the game, setting him apart from those who might explode a lot earlier than they're comfortable with, like Pichu and Fox. A healthy mixture of mobility and survivability is a good place to start, especially for someone who has to get up close and personal to do just about anything. Where he begins to falter is his speed in attacks. For someone who's intended to get all up in your face and pressure you up close, surprisingly, Falcon struggles to do that. Rushdown fighters like Terry, Fox, and Roy are notorious for being able to practically mash like crazy and get away with it. Whether it's because they can block string you to Kingdom Come or have moves that are ridiculously safe on shield or both, true to the archetype, their win condition is to keep the pressure on you constantly, while your goal as the opponent is to try to get them away from you. Frame data wise, Falcon's definitely above average, possessing moves that are good for boxing up close, and a number of them are quite safe on shield for their kind, but by observing the gameplay between Fox, Roy, or an FGC character and then comparing them to Falcon, you'll notice he doesn't really have the luxury to force the issue, choosing instead to spend more time in neutral, dash dancing, or playing just outside of his opponent's range until they go for an option to then capitalize on his speed and go for a punish. While he may have the same damage racking capability and combo game as a rushdown fighter, demonstrated by his frequent use of nairs and up airs to loop you across the stage, the two things he's missing most are shield pressure and, more critically, guaranteed kill pressure. The reason someone like Terry or Ken is such a threat when up close is because challenging their block strings is either outright impossible or comes with a risk and reward ratio heavily skewed in their favor. Using Terry, everyone's aware of his 1-2 confirms, jab jab power dunk, jab jab rising tackle, down tilt burn knuckle, or jab jab buster wolf. Even if you're playing someone with a decent amount of shield option, the best you can do is shake him off you for some quick damage, whereas he can rack up 30 to 40% or at higher percents nuke your entire stock. The same also applies to Fox. Fox smashing back air or neutral air on your shield can only really be responded to with the get off me tool for a bit of percent, but what he can get in return is a kill or set up into a kill depending on your percent. Roy's one of the simpler ones, down tilt on shields -3 at close range, virtually impossible to challenge by anyone who is in Game & Watch. If he connects, a proper tech chase will begin setting up for kills as early as 60%. As for jab, his infamous chair, jab side B, or even jab forward smash makes trying to punish him for pressuring your shield much more dangerous than you'd think. Either that, or they have some way to break your shield entirely, like Terry's down tilt, up tilt power geyser, or Ryu and Ken's respective shield breaks. So while some rushdown fighters can get screwed over if they get punished, the challenge is finding that opening when they don't give one to you easily. Falcon has a few attacks that are safe on shield, like his dash attack and later active frames, or nair 1 or back air, but none of those moves pose a threat to someone holding shield, as the only thing he can maybe get from a dash attack is a jab right after, which doesn't do a whole lot. He lacks any means to set up into an actual kill confirm, which is a main fear factor of a rushdown. Now, contrary to most other rushdown fighters, Falcon has a grab game, which was a huge contributor to his comparatively better status in Smash 4. A good grab game and decent throws alongside Falcon dive grant him a few ways to handle opponents who get a bit too comfortable holding shield, but none of them come anywhere close to instilling the same panic as his counterparts, and it's unlikely for him to set up an easy shield break too. Falcon does have the speed to get up in your face, but not the same pressure to scare you once he's in there, therefore not having the same range of tools to force the issue like other rushdowns. Ordinarily, if a character has incredible agility but doesn't have the ability to mash in your face, they would subsequently be thrown into the hit-and-run archetype occupied by cast members like Zero Suit Samus, Greninja, and Dangling, who are also defined by their great mobility. The key difference between rushdown and hit-and-run fighters is that the former category gets an opening and then tries to push that all the way to the finish line or die trying, while the latter category, as the name implies, finds an opening, gets something going, then quickly disengages before searching for another opening to repeat the process. They don't get nearly as much off a single neutral win compared to rushdowns, but it is compensated with less volatility, avoiding the risk of exploding off careless aggression. Once more, Falcon's incapable of playing fully into that playstyle either because of three things. 1. He's unable to force approaches. Hit-and-run fighters typically have one or two options they can use to agitate the opponent into coming to them. For instance, while Zero Suit's Air does a paltry amount of damage and doesn't kill anyone, its long range, safety on shield, and spam ability make it just good enough to annoy her opponent, pressuring them to go in, where she can then punish accordingly. Greninja's Water Shurikens and Inkling's Paint Bombs do the same thing. Under no circumstances will they ever kill someone in neutral, but they don't have to. Their job is to just make them come to them. Falcon obviously has no projectile. He is a good neutral game thanks to his mobility and, while not as good as in Smash 4, grab game giving him no trouble approaching. But when it comes to strictly forcing approaches, he can't really do so, which is unfortunate because he's known for having quite a few moves that are excellent specifically for whiff punishing scenarios, not the least of which being Up Smash, Raptor Boost, and Falcon Kick. Up Smash in particular has garnered an almost legendary reputation for its deceptive horizontal range, great functionality as an anti-air courtesy of its legs being intangible, and extreme damage and kill power, especially when landing a double sweet spot. Couple that with a practically non-existent end lag for a smash attack and you'll see Falcon players occasionally throw this out in neutral because why the hell not? If it misses, nothing happens. If it lands, your opponent's dead. Falcon Kick also has decent kill power of close enough and good stage coverage. Meanwhile, Raptor Boost is an easy way to set up into a string of up airs or potentially a raw knee. However, this gets cancelled out by thing number 2. 2. Falcon doesn't have an easy and safe tool for going after a whiff punish that can lead into an easy confirm. What options he does have are very committal and usually not fast enough. Falcon Kick and Raptor Boost cover a good amount of space, but if you miss either of them, you can get easily punished by a shield drop dash attack or an add a shield option respectively. His dash attack on the other hand is a great option for throwing out as it's one of the safest dash attacks in the game and at early percents can transition into some combos. But at mid to high percents, this is more of a burst option dash attack meant for kills like Terry or Clouds and less of a combo dash attack like Greninja, Meta Knight, and Fox. Unless you use it literally at point blank, Falcon also has trouble crossing up shields with this move. Dash attacks aside, other whiff punishers typically have something to heavily threaten careless approaches, which, if used in tandem with something that can force approaches, can give those type of fighters their strength. Take Bayonetta for example. Though uncharged bullet arcs doesn't pose a threat, it is enough to force an approach that she can punish with afterburner kick to deal huge damage or even kill you outright, depending on your position. 3. Falcon's kinda stuck on extremes where he's either hitting you once and that's it, or hitting you 5 billion times in a row, further making him incompatible with executing this type of playstyle to the fullest. Falcon has a plethora of strong single blows, from up smash to Falcon Kick to forward air to sweet spot back air to dash attack, but lacks easy ways to set up into them. The best you might get is a Nair 1, but compared to other Nair or Fair ones like Joker Fair or Roy Nair, the knockback angle and distance on Falcon's Nair 1 forces you to master IDJ to either rise high enough to do so or extend your combo with falling up airs. Dash attack and Falcon Kick would make for excellent tech chase punish options, but Falcon doesn't have an easy way to set up tech chases at high percents like a Roy down tilt for instance. Alternatively, a Fox type Nair to do landing Nair dash attack or landing Nair Raptor Boost or landing Nair Falcon Kick. Credit towards too, he does have a grounded scooping option in the form of Raptor Boost, which if you can land it does the exact same things as a Meta Knight, Fox, Greninja, or Diddy Kong dash attack, but it's typically not fast enough to be used on reaction most of the time. Oftentimes when I watch Falcon, it feels like the Falcon player has to work so much harder to find kill confirms that others can get a lot easier. Very simple things like Joker down throw or send back air on bad DI, it's not guaranteed, but it's something the Joker player can safely fish for at the ledge to score an easy kill. Falcon's down throw sends out too far to be used like a Palutena, Joker, pit down throw back air confirm. Or an up tilt or landing aerial that scoops up opponents to consistently lead into a knee or something. Like imagine if he had a Luigi Nair that pops you straight up. Having a consistent and fishable confirm into knee would instantly make him high tier. Part of what made him so much better in Smash 4 was that he did have easy confirms, mostly through his dash grab which got nerfed in Smash Ultimate, making players have to find alternative methods to get things going. Speaking of dash grab, that was essentially Falcon's neutral spam tool along the lines of the previously mentioned character's dash attacks. Of course, I'd be remiss to not give mention to the minor boost in recognition he had during the midpoint of Ultimate. Through the efforts of Fatality and the rise of new Falcon mains like Sean, Jogibu, and Karage, there was a bit of optimism during this time, as he had gotten a number of buffs over Ultimate's development to make him ever more viable. But there was still the overall fundamental lack of things he needed to either fully commit to the rushdown playstyle or fully commit to the hit-and-run playstyle. These deficiencies, coupled with a few peculiar janks associated only with him, namely the fact that he extends his hurtbox when dash dancing, makes him feel like worse iterations of other members of his class. In a cruel twist of fate, most of Falcon's losing matchups happen to be against other rushdown and combo-oriented characters. He routinely has a tough time against Ken, Pichu, Roy, Fox, Mario, Terry, Inkling, Wario, Sheik, and so on because they all have the same capacity of shooting out damage, but they all one-up him in some way, shape, or form. Overall, they can press momentum a lot more consistently and easily than Falcon. In my opinion, that's kind of what it boils down to. Falcon's intended to be very momentum driven, but for the strangest reason lacks the faculty to capitalize on momentum, whether short bits of momentum or long strings of momentum. It just feels like something's missing compared to his Melee or Smash 4 iterations. He used to have a clear identity of racking up damage with his heavy combos or playing a grappling combo game, but in this version it feels like he doesn't really have anything to set him apart from the others. Falcon used to be the grappling rushdown, but that got taken away from him and replaced with effectively nothing. In a game where it feels like everyone has an easy kill confirm or situation where they have a 9-1 advantage against their opponent, everything about Falcon feels like a 50-50. The Falcon player has to take unreasonably high risks to get the same result that similar characters get without any of that risk. As a result, even though people think he's a really hyped character, the higher up you go, the lamer you have to play on him, since it's just too risky to go for sauce, especially when you can blow up instantly for doing so. When people idealize Captain Falcon, they remember clips like Sean Falcon punching bacon, forgetting that's the exception, not the rule, unless they forget that probably wouldn't work on a better character. The majority of Falcon gameplay at the upper echelons of competitive Ultimate look more like Fatality against Proto Banham. Funsies oriented, focused on reads, neutral, ledge trapping. He gets a train of uppers every so often, but you're never gonna see Nick C montage type plays at higher level because it's simply too risky and too difficult to pull off in such a setting. Predictable recovery, tall stature, no way to escape disadvantage easily like a flip jump, and no safe ways to make explosive plays. Falcon's caught in a weird limbo state where he simultaneously has many attributes conducive to a high-performing character and yet is missing entire chunks of gameplay elements that other characters have, because they took it away from him and for some reason tried to buff everything in his kit except the things that are crucial to his consistency. He's popular to play casually or low to mid level, but really difficult to play competitively. It's a shame too, people love the legacy this guy has, but outside of Brawl, Ultimate Falcon might be the worst rendition of Falcon that's still decently viable. I tend to see discussion on Reddit or Twitter or even in my own comment section talking about how he's the most overrated character in terms of people thinking he's more hype than he actually is. But that's not really his fault, it's not tenable to play him for hype given the circumstances. Either way, Falcon's in a tough position. I hope they rework him in the next Smash title to have a clear game plan and niche to call his own. But for the time being, that's going to be it for today. Let me know your thoughts on Falcon in the comments down below if you agree or disagree with my points. Aside from that, if you enjoyed the video, a like and subscribe would be much appreciated. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at VarsVM, join my Discord server, and why not check out my discussion on Min if you haven't yet. But till next time, thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.
Again, gets right back to the ledge.
Oh my god, up air into F tilt. Oh no, this should be a free stock.
This is bad.
Hold on. He blew himself up, nice. The positioning though, up B, all the way off stage. I couldn't even see him.
Why are you running? Why are you running? Why are you running? He's up B.
Oh my god, these up tilts getting baited out again. It's looking like a run back of the last game. Jabs though from MBD trying to stay alive. Here comes the recovery though from Fatality. Yep, he's just avoiding everything, Vicky. Like I said, this dude's a magician.
I don't think he's been contested.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
He's still going.
Oh,
He's still going.
it's curtains. It's wraps for MBD. That is
the up B for the immediate reset.
Get him a casket. This is over. MBD is just, oh my god. Fatality. This is insane offense from Cal. Oh my god. What move hasn't he landed yet? Stomp. Oh my god.
Sounder. Do it again. 160.
Oh no.
He's done with it. He's done with it.
Fine.
He's already done.
Fine. I'll do it myself.
I'm going to take myself.